Welcome back to Off the Bar Podcast. My name is Rafael Santos, and I'm here with
Michael Figueroa.
just us two, Michael. A little brief episode talking about the Europa League Final. We're also going to be talking about the Conference League Final that's coming up, I believe, not on the 28th. That's the Champions League Final. The Conference League Final is on the 25th, so 3 days in between.
Conference League.
Where Arsenal will be playing.
What do you? That's where Man U's
Yeah.
potentially.
West Ham. Unless Man U drops points and West Ham picks up points.
We will get to that later in the episode if you want.
We shall see. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the Europa League Final. We're also going to be talking about the Conference League Final right after. Then we're going to be talking about some transfer rumors, little things happening in the Premier League. Maybe the FA Cup will get in there somehow. But yeah, let's talk about the main thing. Europa League Final, Rangers, Frankfurt. I had Frankfurt winning. Someone had Rangers winning. What went wrong for you there, Michael?
I think I was actually surprised how well Rangers played. I didn't think Rangers were going to score first, to be honest. Seeing how Rangers played against Salzburg? They played was it Leipzig or Leipzig, sorry.
Leipzig.
I always confuse the RB teams. But when they played against Leipzig, the first they were pretty defensive, letting them kind of take over the game, and they scored a couple of times because of it. And I was kind of apparent now while Frankfurt in the first half was really dominating the pace of the game, and they were really pushing at them. And it was crazy because from what you told me, there was more Rangers fans in the stadium. It seemed like there was more Frankfurt fans because they were so well organized. It's like if they never left Spain after they beat Barcelona, it just kind of stayed there.
I heard the commentators talking about the amount of people that were there from both sides, and it was something around 120,000 fans made the trip. Obviously, not everyone could get into the stadium, but it was 1/3 of Sevilla's population or something that was there for that game. From my perspective, just looking out in the stands, there was more Rangers fans than Frankfurt fans. Behind the Frankfurt goal, yeah, they were very organized. You could tell they were there, but after that, it was just blue. It was
they had their flags and everything.
Dude, they were going crazy, but it was crazy to see. It was absolutely wild because it was in Spain. So it was super weird to see, and I know
off with Spain.
Yeah, and the second half, the Frankfurt fans popped a bunch of flares and everything behind.
Oh yeah,
what was the Rangers' goal at the time? And it was absolutely crazy.
I remember when they were screaming at the referee early on because the Rangers player chipped one of the Frankfurt defenders and he started bleeding super. No. That was crazy.
I was gonna talk about that just now. That was a red. That's a red. Surely that's a red. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, that was pretty
bad. The ball was in midair. Sebastian Rode puts his head down a little bit. He kind of tucks his chin in. And the guy absolutely smashes him in the forehead. If you go on Instagram now and you look at the stitches on Sebastian Rode's head, it's literally from the middle of his forehead into his hairline.
It was really bad.
Dead in the middle of his forehead. There's no way to simulate, kind of make the scar look good. This man looks like he got opened up.
I think
for his thoughts.
I think the only reason why the referee didn't give him a red was because it's a cup final. The final just started, and you can tell it wasn't an intentional move. He was apologizing to him right after, but it is it's a red card. I think the only more blatant red card in my life was the World Cup final in 2010, where De Jong basically murdered Xabi Alonso. I don't know if you've ever seen that one where he went
yeah.
That was more red, but I feel the referee was just I'm not gonna give the card because the final just started. How am I gonna give a card for something that's wasn't intentional? But overall, I felt at the first half it was all Frankfurt show, and the second half it was still pretty dominant by Frankfurt. But then it was a slip up. It was the ghost of Steven Gerrard tripped up a Frankfurt player because Steven Gerrard used to coach Rangers, and then they scored that goal and they took the lead. And I was oh my God, Rangers have a lead. Like I didn't think Rangers were gonna score that early, but then shortly after, the Colombian for Frankfurt ties it. And then it just was Frankfurt, all Frankfurt after that. They were pressing, 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 pressing.
I don't know. For me, it was a little 50-50. Like going back to the whole referee, like not giving it because it's a cup final. I think that's BS. Because like if that's the case, then you give a yellow. If you don't want to send him off early, you give a yellow. The thing is, he didn't think it was a foul. Period. Like he didn't really think anything of it. Like I never played beyond high school, but like as someone that used to get fouled a lot, dude, if someone raises their leg that high up, it's a foul. And the fact that he made contact with his head is a foul. The reason why the ref didn't give it, like the mannerisms he was giving off, the explanation he was trying to give, as I could like tell from the TV, because obviously I'm not there, was he was trying to say that Rhoda put his head down. And that makes sense, but it doesn't. Like I remember in high school that legit happened to me, like specifically. Like the ball was lower, but it's still in midair, and I put my head down to hit it past a player, and he put his foot up and hit me in the head. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like the same exact thing happened to me. But the referee was trying to explain that Sebastian Rhoda put his head down, and then since you put your head down, like what is the player supposed to do? Like you're bringing your head down. But he literally didn't. He just tucked his chin in. Like you can't fault a player from like going from like let's say 6'2" to 6 foot, and then you get kicked in the head, and it's he put his head down. No, dude, it's a red card. I thought it should have been a red card, and it would have changed the complexity of the game, and it is the final. But it's a red card, bro.
It's merely a flesh wound. They're like, it's not that bad. He'll be good. But
I'm sure they could have seen a skull. Like they could have seen how nervous he was. Like they could have seen the inner workings of his brain. Like kicked the mess out of him. But like going back to the game, dude, Rangers capitalized on a mistake from Frankfurt. The dude literally just fell over and wide open goal after a backwards header on a kickoff. Frankfurt kind of did that to themselves. Then Frankfurt got the goal back, doing what they've been doing the whole game. By the way, no one in the game could put a cross in that was half decent. Like Kostic was just like, oh, I have the ball, cross, and it was just bad cross, bad cross. James Tavernier, did you see the cross that he put in at the beginning of the game where he like beat the left back, cut into the box, and then put a cross in that went out for a throw in on the other side?
I think so. Yeah, that was really him.
Dude, I was like, is this the guy that Connor was saying that was gonna like change the game or something? Like, what
He
is
was,
he doing?
and the crazy thing is, Tavernier has been fantastic the whole tournament, and he had a pretty good moment to the final. But I think he had the opportunity to stop the tying goal from coming in, and he missed it. It was like right next to his leg.
Kostic put in a really good cross. He like magged the guy that was right in front of him. I don't know if that was Tavernier himself. And
No, it was I think it was a second person. There was Tavernier was like right here, and the ball went this way, and then that person scored.
Yeah.
Then it was like marked directly.
Yeah, Kostic just kept doing what he had been doing the whole game, put 1,000 crosses in. He finally found Borré, who beat two center backs to get to it, and they scored a good goal. After that, it was just kind of Frankfurt having the ball, and Rangers did counterattack really good because Ryan Kent had a couple chances. They did have a couple chances afterwards. They just couldn't capitalize. And
Kevin Tramp, bro, ridiculous.
Dude, that save Kevin Trapp had at the end of the game.
Trapp, I think he was the player of the game, in my opinion. Like that guy was.
Of course. I don't know who got man of the match.
Let's look that up.
Well, I can look it up. Santos Borré has man of. No, he doesn't. Well, according to, I don't know who man of the match is, but according to FootMob, the player on Frankfurt with the highest rating was Touré, right center back for Frankfurt.
That's a little weird. Tavernier had the star on him. That's like, come on, bro. How are you gonna give him that?
Well, Tavernier is the man of the match as a whole, according to FootMob.
I don't know. I feel like the trap was fantastic to watch.
Like I said, that save that he had on, I believe Ryan Kent in like the 90th minute. It was either the 90th minute or the end of extra time.
He kept them in the game for sure.
He kept them in the game.
He would have been over.
Like, and it's crazy because it was a ball across the box into Ryan Kent wide open. And usually goalies just go for like a reflex save, like literally spread as much as I can. They kind of look away and then it just hits a part of their body, usually their chest or something, or one of their arms. but he
Yeah.
literally stared down Ryan Kent as if like, dude, I'm going to reflex save this, like looking at it, like I'm gonna react to it. He stares him down. Ryan Kent puts it bottom left and he sticks his foot out like purposely, like not trying to get bigger, not trying to make himself bigger and save it, purposely to save that shot. Like it was insane. And then he obviously saved Aaron Ramsey's horrible penalty in the penalty shootout. That was a
Yes.
horrible penalty.
That was
Like
so bad.
in a regular penalty shootout is a horrible penalty, and it doesn't help the fact that like it was literally like, you remember those Chilean penalty shootouts in the Copa America where they would just put everything in upper 90. It was literally that. Like
It
everyone
was
was
so good.
It was so good. Two people scored or three people scored off the post and in. There were like four in a row that were just upper 90, and then Aaron Ramsey comes up.
And then here comes the ex Arsenal legend. As soon as I saw him come, I'm like, he's gonna miss it. And then there's gonna be like more banter about Arsenal, which has been a tough week so far. And there we go. He did it. Honestly, I was surprised though. Like, I think in order for Rangers to win this game, like have a better chance, they should have capitalized on their chances in like an extra time, because they were more dominant in extra time, in my opinion. Like, it just seemed like Frankfurt was exhausted. Like, Frankfurt's a really good side, but their style of football is so like quick and possession and like aggressive that it feels like once like the 90 minutes finished, they were gassed. They had no energy left, and they were making some poor passes and decisions and movements. And the Rangers were able to counter because of that. If Rangers had a better goal score, they would have probably, won the game, in my opinion. But you gotta give it to Kevin Trapp. He was playing fantastic. Rangers were now capitalizing opportunities, and then once you go to penalties, it's a 50-50 shot right there. You know who's gonna win a penalty. You could be the best player in the world. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're not confident taking that penalty, Ramsey was not confident taking that penalty. He messed up, and that's it. It cost him the game. Everyone else was perfect. Not a single person missed a penalty, except for Aaron Ramsey.
To be honest, I thought he was gonna score it. Like I didn't when he was walking up to it, I was like, oh, this guy looks like he's gonna miss. I thought he was gonna score it because he was brought on to shoot the penalty, and it's such an English like, I don't even know what do you call it, like the English curse, the Prem curse,
They're
to
not good at
bring on
penalties.
to bring on a penalty shooter, and then they end up missing the penalty.
Like in the Euros.
Yeah. And it cost him the title. But in the grand scheme of things, as a neutral fan, Rangers was already gonna play Champions League next season. This means that Frankfurt, who isn't in the top four in the Bundesliga, is going to get to play Champions League next season. So they both get to play Champions League next season. If they want to look at it that way. At the end of the day, they did lose the final.
Those Rangers has a really good story. A couple of years ago, they were in second division, and last year they won undefeated in their league with Gerard as a coach. Gerard left, and they still went to the finals. So kudos to them. They have a pretty good history. I was excited. I was hoping the Rangers would win because I kind of wanted a team from not one of the top 5 leagues to win. I thought that would be interesting. That's why I was like that's why I'm like a little bit conflicted for the conference when we get to it. But I was kind of hoping like it would be cool if like a Scottish team, which doesn't get a lot of insight, doesn't get like a lot of attention, they actually come out with a result. That would be pretty dope. But kudos to Frankfurt. They came to the Camp Nou, they dominated, and they won. They went to West Ham in London, they dominated, they won. And they went to Sevilla, they didn't dominate, but they kept fighting and they won. And
yeah, they beat up Betis.
Yeah. So kudos to them. They deserve it. Been having an easy road to the final at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I agree with that. They definitely deserved to win the final just because like how much they deserve to even be there in the first place with beating all the teams you said, Barcelona, West Ham, Betis. Like it takes a certain kind of team to do that, and they definitely deserve to win. But the nature of the entire Europa League final was different this year as well. I know you said it would be really interesting to see a team perhaps like Rangers win because they're not a top 5 league team. But I think the fact that we got it felt like a real Europa League final in the sense of like it wasn't a team that got knocked out of the Champions League that won. Usually, like what would we expect? We would have expected to have like a Barca, West Ham. Obviously, they were in the same side of the bracket, so that wasn't possible. But we would have expected like a Barca, West Ham. Like we've had Sevilla, Inter Milan, Villarreal, Manchester United. You know, like we've
Arsenal,
had
Chelsea.
yeah, like we usually have big teams that weren't good enough to play Champions League that season, but they're big teams. This year we had Frankfurt, who's now a top 4 team in the Bundesliga. We have Rangers, who's now winning the Scottish Premier League. I believe Celtic won it this
Yeah, they already
season.
won this year.
Yeah. So it was like a real Europa League final. So it was like a bit refreshing to see because it wasn't like gigantic names, but even though it was like quote unquote boring, it was somewhat exciting because like it was like real passion. Like it wasn't like a money poor game. In terms of like having huge teams play it. Like to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, I don't want to see Pogba playing like I don't want to see Pogba playing Europa League. You know what I mean? Like he's an expensive
Yeah.
player on an expensive team. Like I don't want to see like Cristiano playing Europa League. I don't want to see like I don't want to see it. Like I want to see teams that are that caliber. Not to like make it seem like a bad thing. Like you're Europa League caliber. It's just like teams are happy to make Europa League. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see play. Like I don't want to see teams that drop out of the Champions League
I want teams
play in the
that
Europa
need
League.
that money to like get players, get recognition, all of that. I feel like that'll make it more interesting. Like I always assume that's the point of the Europa League is to have these lower tier teams, no offense to them, like have a chance to win European silverware against other European clubs, improve their football, learn from it, and also have a chance of actually like getting like European prize money to then improve their academies, improve their players based on all that. So seeing, like you said, it was very strange seeing like Frankfurt and Rangers. These are two teams that we didn't think we're gonna make it. I remember last time I saw Frankfurt play prior to like this year. They played against Arsenal in Europa League, and they were pretty good. I think they might have eliminated us one year, if I'm correct, but they were pretty confident on the ball and their movements. And I don't know what type, they play a very aggressive style where it's like they keep possession, but they do like quick movements. The way I describe it, it's very interesting to watch. I like watching Frankfurt, and I think Frankfurt like can hopefully make the Bundesliga more interesting.
Yeah.
Please.
Going back to, I mean, they're not going to be Bayern. You can forget about that.
No, but
But
like,
I mean, we'll see what happens because Lewandowski's leaving to Barcelona supposedly. But maybe that'll stop their dominance because he's literally by far their best player, and we've seen with Barcelona and we've seen it with Real Madrid that once you take a player that's that like insane for a team and you take them out, they like absolutely just crumble. But we'll
yeah.
see.
Moving on to everybody's third favorite club European competition, Conference League.
I don't know, man. Is that my third favorite?
What else is there?
World Cup.
But yeah, so we got Roma and Feyenoord. Feyenoord obviously is from the Dutch league, and then Roma, Feyenoord. Roma, Roma is coached by arguably the best manager of all time, in my opinion, Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho.
That is a weird way to pronounce Zinedine Zidane, but
Jose Mourinho. I am Jose Mourinho.
I love Jose Mourinho. Have you ever seen the clips of him like at Spurs, like talking to Dele Alli? He's like, Dele, you are lazy. If you play like this, you don't start. Simple.
I don't know what's wrong with you. When you're at MK Dons, you were playing okay. You come over here, you're playing good. Then other days, you're just lazy.
Bro, he literally sat in front of the entire Spurs, like the entire squad, and he was like, "This is who's starting for me." He put the entire team up on a board, and like I remember that he had like Davies at left back, and you just see Danny Rose like devastated. He's just devastated.
I remember that one video. He had a video where he was like, "It's like halftime. Like, look, in halftime, Manchester United is gonna put in Paul Pogba, and he's gonna have a beautiful pass across to Rashford, and then half starts." His football knowledge is immaculate. That guy is brilliant. He's awesome. I'm happy to see him in the Conference League final because he's won the Europa League with Man United, which was the last trophy Man United has ever lifted. And he obviously won the Champions League with Inter Milan and with the astounding one with Porto. So him winning the Conference League, he'll be the first manager to win all 3 European competitions, and especially in the first year that this European competition is going on. And Roma kind of deserve it. They've been playing pretty good. They have Tammy Abraham, who's been phenomenal since leaving Chelsea. He's very confident. He's very loved. Usually, the Italian isn't very positive towards players of different race. They have a very bad history of it. If you can
Hey,
look
man.
at Balotelli's experience, and it's not good.
Hey, Michael, watch your mouth, man. If any team is tolerating, it's Lazio. Like, what are you talking about?
What? We don't have a Mussolini in the squad. What?
He's just a distant cousin, twice removed.
Well, yeah. So I'm obviously going for Roma. I think it's cool that Fennerwood, like I said earlier, with Rangers being in the finals, a team that not in the top 5 leagues being there. Obviously, if you think of the Dutch league, you think of Ajax. That you don't think of Fennerwood, and Fennerwood's there. So this would be fun. It would be exciting to watch. I think Roma are going to pull out with the win. I hope Roma pull out with the win, and Mourinho can continue his European success.
You have a prediction? Do I smell a prediction?
I can smell. I don't know what the score is going to be because Mourinho plays very defensively. He likes to have his teams attack at the right moments. Is what I'll call it. Basically, park the bus and wait to move. But I think it'll be if it's going to be a close game. I think it'll be a 2-1 win.
2-1 Roma.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with basically everything you said. I think Tammy Abraham's been having an absolutely insane season. Thank God they bought him, and he's not alone. Actually, they real deal bought him.
Yeah.
There is talks of Paulo Dybala going to Roma, so we'll see. We'll see what happens over there. But Roma turns to be a reject revivalist team. I remember Chris Smalling was like, "Oh, garbage! United, he's not good enough for United." Boom, goes to Roma. He's really good.
Yeah.
Dude, Tammy Abraham was playing a lot under Frank Lampard. Was it Conte that comes in? Whoever comes in after Frank? No, it wasn't Conte.
Tuchel.
Tuchel comes in and it doesn't like Tammy Abraham or whatever. Boom, Tammy Abraham goes to Roma. He is absolutely insane. He's the second leading scorer in the Conference League under Mourinho, and now we're having Roma perhaps playing Europa League next season because where are they in the Serie A? Let's see.
I think they're top 5. I'm correct.
No, Lazio's 5th.
Lazio's 5th.
They're in 6th place, so they'd be Europa League regardless. But I mean, we'll see. Fiorentina and Atalanta are right behind them on 59 points, and Roma's on 60. So we'll see. This is a really important game for Roma. If they can clinch Europa League next season, obviously it will mean that more players want to go to their team. Perhaps they can make the Serie A more interesting. I think the Serie A is getting more interesting anyways. If there ever was a real title race up and down, it was definitely Serie A this year, even though the Premier League has the best title race, technically, because it's coming down to the last match day, but it's only between 1 and 2, where these guys were 4 or 3 teams until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Also, something I noticed you were mentioning earlier, how a lot of players in this team for Roma are kind of getting their resurgence. I don't know. You remember Mkhitaryan?
Yeah.
He's in Roma and he's playing I think he has 4 assists right now. No, he has 6 assists for them and 5 goals. So he's their second top assister. Tammy Abraham is obviously their top goal scorer and top goal scorer and assister combined. But Mkhitaryan's been playing really good for them, and I think it's great for him. Obviously, it didn't work out in Man United when they traded him for Alexis Sanchez, and he wasn't that good in Arsenal. He didn't fit his system. I feel like it was a waste of a switch. He's a good player. I think he's a great, fantastic player. He worked really well in Dortmund, so I'm really happy to see him perform in Roma.
Yeah, I did forget about Mkhitaryan, to be honest, but he is a Roma player, like you said. Yeah,
he's a player.
It literally comes down to what you said. Is Mourinho's team going to be able to go in there, play that counter-attacking football that Mourinho made so famous, especially at Real Madrid with Di Maria, Bale, Cristiano. Obviously you have Tammy Abraham, which isn't the same, but It's definitely good. Roma is the leading clean sheet team in the conference league. They have five, tied up there with an Austrian team, Lask. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. Feyenoord has a top leading scorer in the conference league as well.
Yeah, Boost Hill, right? Is that him? Is
The
that what we're talking
Sayers,
about?
the Sayers, and they have the third leading scorer in Siniestra as well.
Oh wow.
So it might just be a really attacking Feyenoord with nothing to lose and absolutely everything to win, versus Roma led by a counter-attacking genius or parking the bus genius in Jose
Jose
Mourinho.
Mourinho.
Obviously, my prediction is going to be like along the same lines as you, because like I, what can I say? Like Feyenoord is not a team that I follow that much. Um, so I have the bias towards the bigger team with a more proven manager with the more proven big time European players. So I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Roma win or Feyenoord.
Yeah, I
Ten
agree.
hat trick.
Hat trick for doing that would be really nice.
That'd be insane.
I was like Garrett Bale scored a hat trick in the Champions League finals and they sat in there for like 2 seconds.
Dare him start Isco on me.
But yeah, it'll be great. I think Mourinho, like I said earlier, he's my favorite manager. He really likes to go to clubs that let him obviously like try to bring a winning culture to the team and bring that experience to them. Obviously, it didn't work out in England for his second tenure because wow, United, United and Tottenham were not trying to help him. He didn't get any signs for. He couldn't sign anybody for Tottenham, and I think for United, I don't think I need to describe myself just how like attacked he was by the media constantly. Where honestly, he didn't deserve it. The whole team was in shambles. He says his biggest success as a manager has been getting United second place.
Yeah.
And
Talking about teams in shambles. PSG. Good old PSG.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Supposedly PSG have offered someone by the name of Kylian Mbappe. I don't know who that guy is. Quote unquote complete control to become the quote unquote owner of their sporting project, allowing him to change coaches and decide who signs for the club, according to El Chiringuito, who isn't the most reliable, but like, dude, that's insane. If that's true, that's insane. To give a player the power to choose coaches and players is not real, and it is the very reason why PSG have never been good. Because all their players, time from time, have been bigger than the badge. They always have been. When they made the signing for Neymar, Neymar was bigger than the badge. When they made the signing for Mbappe, Mbappe has grown bigger than the badge. Messi is vastly bigger than that badge. And it's just always been the problem with that team. They have no identity. They have very few academy players that have ever been good. And that's the problem with PSG. And that's why I think he should come to Real Madrid on a non-biased opinion.
He's a fantastic player. He has like 42 goal contributions this year, 25 goals, 17 assists. He's obviously in all aspects our best player. It is insane how
Dude, he's the
good he
leading
is.
scorer in League One and leading assister in League One, and he got Player of the Year for the third year in a row in League One. Like,
And how old is he? He's like what, 21 probably, 22?
I'm not sure how old Mbappe is. He's
Imagine
young.
giving a 22-year-old being like, hey, listen, this club that we bought, you can basically kind of own it if you want to stay with us.
It's just ridiculous.
They like, and it's crazy how like poorly like PSG finessed the bag last year. Madrid offered them $220 million for a player with one year left in his contract. They already got Messi. Messi was gonna go with their team, and they chose to keep Mbappe. I feel like they should have sold them because like obviously seeing how like it hasn't worked with those three. Like I feel like next year PSG would do better if they get a better manager, obviously. But having Neymar on the wing with Di Maria and having Messi, if he goes back to a false nine position, that could be a more dominant team because Messi's actually playing a position he plays more often. But it's just speculation at this point because PSG is always, like you said, it's kind of topsy turvy with them. I've heard like rumors that Tuchel left because he said that managers don't really have any say in the club, which is ridiculous. Why would you get a manager if you're not gonna like let him do what he has to do to make your team better. Like
because
who knows better about the team than the manager?
money drives that team. It's like a pseudo team. It's like, hey guys, we have all this money. Like, hurry up, make the stadium, make the badge, make the kits, so we can have a soccer team. Like, it's like it feels that way. Like,
You know, they're
it,
making like PSG stores around the world, like to sell like their jerseys and stuff, because like they're trying to be like a merch brand. Because they do have like a great jersey. Like their jersey's always nice, but
yeah, but that's the problem. It's such everything about them is like such money. Like, it's nothing about soccer. Like, it's like it should be that soccer is a vehicle to make money, and not that the merchandise is like a vehicle for the soccer team. Like, it's like it feels that way. Like I remember when they first got the Jordan at like the Jordan stuff, I was like so mad. I'm like, damn, why couldn't Real Madrid get that? But like, why PSG? Like, what have they done to get like it's just ridiculous. And like, obviously, as a soccer fan, it just sucks seeing like Messi in that team. It absolutely does. Like the absolute fall off he's had. And every time I bring it up, someone goes like, Messi has this amount of assists, and like Messi has this amount of goal contributions.
he is a second like a sister in um a team with 13, but still like scoring
Dude,
6 goals only is
Messi,
not Messi.
Messi has 0 goals, 0 assists against this top six in Liga.
That's insane. That's not the Messi I know. That's not the Messi I used to. They used to like haunt my nightmares every time he played against Madrid in a
Cristiano
Clásico.
Ronaldo has 8 goals or 8 goal contributions against a Premier League top six. Not to bring up a Cristiano Messi debate, but Messi should be at the level, if not higher or slightly lower, wherever you're standing on that debate. With Cristiano, he should be with Cristiano, bro, because he's always been. And like, I don't know, that's a whole other like discussion. But like, staying on like PSG, dude, I hope that Mbappe can leave, not just because I'm a Real Madrid fan, but because like it seems like shackled there. Like, I don't want anyone to go to PSG. Like, I keep seeing rumors about this person, that person. Like, I don't want anyone to go to PSG. I want PSG to like self-destruct and like rebuild with their youth.
Yeah. That's kind of sad. You know what's crazy is that Ronaldinho played in PSG before PSG was even like the PSG we know now, and he was a pretty successful player there. It's just that Paris Saint Germain like never kind of started buying players once it became like the richest club in the world.
Dude,
It's like
the thing
who doesn't
is,
want to go to Paris? Paris is like
of
that it's
course,
a big city in a league that's pretty simple where these if you get good talent, they're gonna almost guarantee them the league win. So it's almost a guaranteed trophy at that point. Like it's enticing. It's like going to Bayern. Like you're gonna go to Bayern, you're almost guaranteed the trophy for that year, especially the Bundesliga, and
the
you're gonna be playing
thing
with a
is,
fantastic team.
the thing is, players should not be like that. Shouldn't be. Like if I'm a professional player, I'm not like, PSG is an enticing team. Bayern's an enticing team, bro. If you want to be the best player in the world, you don't play in Bayern and you don't play at PSG. You don't. It. Look at the Ballon d'Or winners. Yeah, technically Messi won the Ballon d'Or as a PSG player, but not really. We all know that he won it for his performance at Barcelona.
Yeah.
If you want to be the best player in the world, if you want to play for the best teams in the world, you either play in the Premier League or you play in La Liga. That's it. Like it sucks that it's that way, but that's the way it is. So if you ask me, like I hate it. Like I hate that PSG can just buy whoever they want, and like they come into the Champions League and they get knocked out every year. Playing with this pseudo team, like, dude, it's a pseudo team. Like they
They
have
just
no
get
one.
talent and they wash it there. Like you remember
Dude,
Julian Draxler?
yeah, I
What is he doing
remember
there?
he was insane. Like Julian Draxler was like, you remember De Bruyne? Like everyone was like, dude, De Bruyne's insane. I wonder what team he's gonna go to. Then he goes to Chelsea, and then he goes to Man City, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy. It was like Draxler's like, yo, Draxler's disgusting. What team he's gonna go to? He goes to PSG, and then boom. It's like,
Falls off.
I give him props for Marquinhos. Marquinhos was like, no, I think he's academy player, if I'm not mistaken. He was like no one, and they made him into Marquinhos, and then boom, Kimpembe as well. You have like Rabiot, like Keeps
Berardi
goals for
wasn't that
Inter.
big either until we got to like said it to PSG.
Who?
Berardi, he wasn't that like
Yeah, Verratti used to play for like
outstanding.
Pescara or something, with Jorginho. Um,
Like I think out of all the like, well, I call them they're oil clubs like the PSG and the Man City. Man City has been more successful in like their league. They're playing in a harder league, and they've dominated. It's because Man City makes very smart football decisions. They let their managers buy players when they're like young, and they keep paying them out. Like Sterling was a project for them. Um, Aguero was a project for them. Company was a project for them. They weren't expecting trophies automatically. They were expecting to struggle against Man United. And look at them now. They're probably like, arguably, they're going to be one of the best Premier League sides. They could be the best Premier League side next year with like Holland as an addition. So it's insane how like well Man City has done domestically in their own league. But I don't know why I feel like they have a curse in in like the Champions League where like those big oil clubs just can't win the Champions League. And like PSG has like a curse against Spanish teams because like any second leg in Spain, they're just gonna lose it.
I think it goes to like the same thing that I was talking about with PSG, where it's like you have teams that play not so much Man City, but especially PSG and like maybe Bayern, where they have relatively easy leagues, so they play no competition for a very long time. Then they go to Champions League and they get punched in the mouth by real competition. When it comes to Man City, I think the reason why they don't win, this is a jokey one where it's like you remember when they had Yaya Toure and like Pep Guardiola kind of like kicked Yaya Toure out of Barcelona. So like they like cursed him back in Africa to like not win a
And then he
Champions
goes
League.
to City and then he kicks him out of City.
Yeah, but Pep Guardiola's never won a Champions League since then, so it's like
Yeah.
insane. But like I think one of the big reasons is one like the Pep master classes like of like making a really big change for a final and then just getting absolutely slapped, like not playing Rodri in the final. It's ridiculous. Then the second being like, I think when you pour too much money into a team, you lose what it is to be a team with like chemistry, what a team is supposed to be. Like if you pay 100 million for Jack Grealish and you play him as much as you play Jack Grealish, I think that football has a way of biting you in the butt for that, and like you're just not going to be as successful.
Yeah, that was
But
upsetting.
but to be fair to City, the reason why they've been so much better than PSG is because they have made like way better signings. Like PSG literally throws money, meaning like Kylian Mbappe has been really good for Monaco. He wants to go to Real Madrid, 180 million. Give me. Neymar is really good, 222 million. Give me. Like that's throwing money. You're throwing money. Those are the two
Messi's
biggest
available. Let's give him all the money we can.
the two biggest transfers in the history of the game belong to a team, to one team. And were they the same season? I think they were the same season. Yes, they were the same season. They were the same season, wasn't it?
Which one?
Mbappe and Neymar were bought in the same season.
I think so. Or there may
Yeah,
be like
yeah.
a season apart. But another thing to know is that apparently Di Maria is leaving this summer. So he's out of PSG. And I think Pogba's linked to going to PSG. He's also linked to Real Madrid, which is interesting. But I don't personally, as a Madrid fan, I don't like Pogba Madrid. I feel like Pogba's like very.
Look, he'd be good.
He doesn't
He's
have
a class
determination.
player, but he's just not that guy. I think
He doesn't.
Camavinga should be played. Camavinga should
No,
be played. But like
I
going
agree.
back to City, I think the reason why City is so successful is because they've made really good signings. If you really think about it, the Jack Grealish one we have to see. Like there's still time. Bernardo Silva from Monaco was a ridiculous signing. Like that signing, absolutely insane. I don't really like Mahrez from Leicester City because I think that just made Leicester like insanely not competitive. Like literally Conte gone, that like Mahrez gone, like two of your best three players gone. Like Jamie Vardy stayed. Like it was insane. They got Ruben Diaz like the same way that United got Bruno. Man City got Ruben Diaz from the Portuguese league, made him insane. They got Ederson from the Portuguese league, made him insane. Who else did you get?
Gundogan.
Gundogan
They got him from Dortmund when he was injured.
From Dortmund. Rodri from Atletico Madrid. They've just made really good signings. They just never gotten that striker, and now they got him in Erling Haaland. So they're really good at making signings. and they have the money to make whatever signing they want. So when you add those two together, it's insane.
Yeah, and plus you have an actual football system with Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, let's not give Pep too much credit.
Like this is I can actually make a fair reason why Pep struggles in the Champions League, and it has to do with like the way like cup football is played. Pep is a very controlling manager. He has his team follow his style of football, so he's always giving commands. You see him on the bench, he's screaming at his players what to do and everything. He doesn't let his players play at all. Like it seems like he is like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and this will win us a game. Now it works really well in the league play because you're like the bad teams, City is almost always going to beat those teams. Very rarely City drops points against a pretty subpar side. Like that's just not what City does. Like City against like Norwich, they're not going to lose that game. City against Newcastle, they're going to win that game. City against Tottenham, it could be tricky because they're like a top 5 team with like Harry Kane. So like that seems to be the way City work, is that when it comes to like consistency of a league, they're able to like know who they're going to play against. And those small games, it's because of their bench, they already knew how to perform. While cup games are a lot like, you have no idea who you're going to play until like, I think once you get out of the group stages, you have no idea who you're going to play again. Like they just do draw. Then you have to figure out who you're going to put for that game. And then like once you get to like the semifinals or like the quarterfinals is when you already know who you're going to start playing after that. But either way, I feel like Pep doesn't prepare for that as much as he should. And he needs to give his players the chance to like be creative. Like you have KDB, you have Bernardo Silva. These are players that thrive on the ball and thrive on making passes and finding players. Let them do that. Let them see where the game's going to go. Because clearly, sometimes he makes some very poor like substitutions.
Look, I'm a big traditional soccer guy. So, in my opinion, if your team has no team identity, then you're not going to win anything. And it's always been that way, and it's always going to be that way. But I think that Pep Guardiola has finally thrown just enough money in just enough the right place in getting Erling Haaland. And I think he's going to shut me up in the next 2-3 years. In the next 2-3, look, straight up, next 2-3 years, if Pep Guardiola does not win the Champions League, and I could make it 1 or 2 years. In the next 1 or 2 years, if Pep Guardiola does not win the Champions League, I do not ever want to hear anything about Pep Guardiola being the best coach ever. It's just not true. It's not true. Because to throw that amount of money everywhere in every possession and not win at Manchester City, I don't care if you win the league. I don't care if you win the league, because you want to know why you win the league? Because your team has the depth of like Mariana's Trench, bro. You have like 600 million players starting, 50 million player on the bench, and a 40 million player like to back them up.
That's true. You were like,
bro.
Oh my God, look at. But before Pep Guardiola went to Bayern wasn't winning so much. I'm like, yeah, but then Bayern got Götze from Dortmund. They're arch rivals. And then they got Robert Lewandowski from Dortmund. They're arch rivals. They got Hummels also from Dortmund. So their only competition, they basically stripped them of all their players.
Bro,
so it's like
kind of Raheem Sterling at left wing or right wing, Morris at right wing, Grealish at left wing, Phil Foden at left wing, Bernardo Silva at right wing. Like, bro, and that's just the wings. Like, then you have KDB, Rodri, Gundogan, or Zinchenko sometimes as well in the midfield. Then you had like until the other day, you had Aguero, Gabriel Jesus playing striker. Like, so much depth. Like, of course you're gonna win the league. And to their credit, they've been really consistent, like you said, against small teams. Like Man City does not drop points against small teams, very rarely, like insanely rarely. And of course you're gonna win, but I think Pep Guardiola has finally thrown, like I said, money at the right place. Erling Haaland as striker, we'll see how that works out for them, but I don't know.
I think next year is going to be very interesting. You have a lot of players from a lot of teams. A lot of teams looking to obviously upgrade. Arsenal have a very young squad. They need a striker also, probably more than City does, because Arsenal is very young. I think if it wasn't for Xhaka, Elneny, and maybe Cedric, like at some occasions, the Arsenal starting 11 could be a U23 team. Like that's how young that squad is. And I don't think it's a bad young team. I just think you can't expect a manager who's been a coach for 2 years with these young players to be like giving you performances. Like I'm very patient because trust me, they haven't been doing anything in the past decade except winning FA Cups. But if they're gonna try to do something in the Premier League, they have to do it soon because, like I said, Newcastle is coming up. City's not slowing down. Liverpool is not slowing down, and
Chelsea's
United
slowing
got a
down.
brand new manager. Chelsea might be slowing down, but I don't know. They both got two managers that are great, and so is Tottenham. They're pushing it. So they have a young. I'm confident that Arsenal can make a right signing. Gabriel Jesus, I don't know. I feel like we should get a better striker. Gabriel Jesus they're asking for too much for Gabriel Jesus. They're asking for like $60 million, and I'm like, that's not. I'm not spending Erling Haaland money for Gabriel Jesus, in my opinion.
Erling Haaland's worth so much more than that.
Technically, it was $50 million.
Yeah, but the wage is gonna be slapped.
Yeah, but I don't think
Look,
it's
man,
I don't think it's a worth transfer in my opinion. I feel like
I don't know.
Osimhen and Napoli they should go for, and there's a bunch of other players.
Yeah.
But I think I think Champions League is going to look very different next year because this year a lot of teams struggle financially with COVID. This was like their recovery year. They all made their money back. Now this summer, a lot of contracts are open. Modric's a free agent. Di Maria's a free agent. Mbappe is obviously a free agent. Money's going to be spent, and so is Lewandowski. Apparently going to Barcelona. So
Barcelona.
That's going to be a fun summer. Oh, and also Dembele is going to be a free agent too. So
yeah, but he's like 1 foot in Barcelona, 1 foot in Newcastle or something, or PSG. We'll see.
I think PSG should pick him up. It would be cool to have him back in France.
That would be insane. I think that'd be a really good replacement if there ever was one for Mbappe. But yeah, I don't know how Michael finessed talking about Arsenal into this podcast, but
it was very small though. I don't talk about it.
It's all good. I'll have Chris edit it out. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that kind of wraps up today's episode pretty much. We talked about the Europa League Final, Conference League Final, what that means for next season. Jose Mourinho, Tammy Abraham hopefully could pick up a win against Feyenoord, or Feyenoord can upset Jose Mourinho, and maybe they could put some cameras in that locker room and we can have vines and memes for days.
I just want to say the Amazon All or Nothing for Arsenal is going to be fantastic to watch.
Sure.
And you cannot tell me this has not been an entertaining season for them. They literally were like relegation zone battlers to like, we're in the Champions League to now like, oh, you guys bottled it.
Man, they should have done one for like Real Madrid to see the locker room at the halftime of each of the Champions League games. Like,
they did it. Did you ever see the one for where like Zidane gave the pep talk when they play against Juventus?
Yes.
That one was dope.
Yeah. But yeah, my name is Rafael de los Santos.
I am Michael Figueroa.
And this has been Off the Bar Podcast. We will catch you next time.